Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is David. I have only been using coloured pencils for 2 years, so I still consider myself a beginner or intermediary, but I'm still learning. Today I'm going to be doing a red rose, and I've got this picture from Pixabay, so you can easily pick it up. So I'm hoping that even a beginner will be able to follow along or even learn a few tricks. So let us crack on. So this is the picture again, and what I've done is I've now taken away the blackness of it so that we can just concentrate on the flower itself. So let's get on. Okay, so I'm going to start with this top petal, and I'm just using a scarlet red, and I'm coming in and just defining some of these lines so I know where the petal is. I've already got it drawn out. Then I'm just going in lightly, just so that I've got the outline of the petal coming in there. Then I'm just going to use the side of the pencil to give it a shading all the way across, a very light shading with the side of the pencil. And once I've done that, I'm going to come down with the rest of the outline. That's a dark outline anyway, so we can go in with that. I'm going to make that darker later on, and in this corner here is a very dark shadow, so I'm just going to put it in so I know where I am on the picture. If you don't do these sort of things, sometimes you could get a little bit lost as to where you are. So sometimes just putting in these bits, the darker areas or the lighter areas, just to give you some sort of guidance. I'm going to come in a little bit lighter because it lightens up a little bit here. This little bit here is also a shadow, so they can come in a little bit darker than the petal we did at the top. Just start to shade it in, making it a bit darker than with the top petal. But it's not as dark as the bottom one. The bottom one is a very dark shadow. Just coming along the edge of the petal, giving it a lighter shade, and then blending that all in together. Bring it down to the edge, blending it all together. Coming in now with a deep red and making that outline that just a little bit darker, and bringing in that shadows. Still doing it gently because we don't want to go too deep straight away. We want to be able to blend it all in together nicely. As you can see, it's dark at the top and comes down. It gets a little bit lighter towards the edge, the end, the bottom. Now I'm using a Caput Mortuum and bringing in that shadow down the bottom, making that somewhat darker. Starting off with the points at the bottom, going in deep and heavy, and then as you're coming out, just flickering towards the edge and blending it with the the Scarlet red we used earlier on. Also with this Caput, we're going to go along the edge of the outline that I said was a darker shadow, and also blending that in with the deep red and the Scarlet red. Gently bringing that out to where we defined the end of that shadow. There you go. And join those two together. Coming back in with the Scarlet red. And just going back over what we'd already done earlier on the outline of the other side. And blending that in with the Caput Mortuum. Then all the way down and filling in the rest of this. Just slightly. We don't want to lose the shadow that we put in there earlier on. And blending it with the Caput Mortuum at the bottom there, so that it looks like one piece instead of two pieces. There we go, I'm quite happy with that. Bringing in some of the shadow that's being created from the petal above this, that's above this one. Going along the outline there. And blending it in with the Scarlet red as well. So we're using the deep red now. A small shadow line on the edge of there, and just not bringing it down as a line, but flicking it as you come down, so that it blends and it looks like it's going round the edge rather than just an outline. Back in with the Scarlet red and starting to deepen this up a little bit more, blending in with the Caput Mortuum. That's good. Right. Back with the Caput Mortuum and starting to darken those shadows a little bit more. It's all backwards and forwards, as I've said before in other previous videos. It's all building up slowly. It's best to do it this way rather than to just rush in and then find out that you put in something too dark in somewhere where it shouldn't be. Unless you're absolutely certain that that is what you want. Blending that in now with the rest of it. There you go. Back up top with the Scarlet red and putting in some shadows that are there. And the deep red, we're just going to come in and create those shadows a little bit deeper now. And the edge there, which is rolling round from the petal into that petal there, the top petal. So now just gently blending this all in together and defining the edge without it being an edge. Finding those shadows and adding those in using the side of the pencils. And the shadow from the other petal above it. This one sits behind another one. Nice, I like that. There you go, blending it all together now. So it looks like one piece with some shadows in the middle of it as well. Bit of Caput Mortuum, defining that shadow underneath because it is a dark shadow. And blending that all in as well. And as I did that, I noticed it just needed a little bit more on that side as well. I'm using a rubber now just to rub out that edge, which I got wrong when I drew it in. Pencil, it's a mechanical pencil. And drawing it back in again. There you go. There you see me using my kneadable eraser. Coming back in and putting in our outlines using the Scarlet red. Going down the outline that I have already put in there. If you're wondering, it is I used a red pencil for my outline, so I'm not too worried about rubbing it all out. When I drew this all out earlier on. Coming in and just using the side of the pencil, coming over the top of this petal, without losing those outlines that I've done for the shadows. Again, we're just going in very lightly right now, just making sure that we cover this area. Bring it all the way down. And changing pencils to a deep red and coming back in and defining this shadow that's on this petal, but not as deep or dark as the Mortuum, so that we can see there's a different petal now. There we go. So we can see now it's two different petals. We're going to come in now and start on the shadows at the top of this. Yeah, again, I don't know if you can see that, I'm flicking that as I'm going down so that it blends in with the Scarlet red. And we define that a lot more as we go into it as well. Flicking it down all the way along. There's some lines that go across this, so I'm trying to define those as well. I don't know whether I keep those yet, we'll see. It's all trial and error sometimes. Back with the Scarlet red and blending this back in with the deep red. With the edge and all the way over. So there, we were not going to go right the way over. Just give it a slightly hint, but not as deep as we did on the middle bit. Because the other side has a sort of a light highlight on it. Coming in with the Caput Mortuum, and bringing out these shadows a little bit more. So at the moment all we've used is the Scarlet red, deep red, Caput Mortuum. And now I've got just going in with the black now, just coming down the edge there just to bring it out, because it seems as if that's not been defined too much. Just to bring that edge out there a little bit more. Caput Mortuum just didn't do it for me. I'm not going in with a heavy pressure with that black. I don't want to use black too much. And with the Caput Mortuum, just going over that to blend it in so it doesn't just stand out as black.
So going over the black and what I've already done previously. And now it's got black there. I'm just coming with the Caput Mortuum, just give it an edge at the top there. Just bring in that shadow that's coming across. Like I said earlier on, there's some lines earlier on. Just trying to see if I can define those and get them in. Using the side of the pencil. So it's not just a pencil mark. Coming back in with the Scarlet red and blending it back in together. Deepening this up a little bit more without going too deeply. Just coming back over that edge, giving it an edge, and just highlighting in the middle, on the edge of the petal. Starting to come down to the middle of the flower, the petal. Blending it with the edge there. Coming back with the Caput Mortuum and bring that out that little bit more around the edge and blending it in with what I've just done there. Little strokes all the way down. Sometimes it's just the smallest bits that can give a nice touch. Still using that Caput Mortuum, I'm just trying to bring out some of that shadows without losing it too much. So this is the top piece of this petal has a lot of shadow. It's almost like a spoon. And they're flicking it all the way down, blending it in with what I've already done. So it's not just a thick line. We we want it like a little whisker going all the way down. And from there also coming out from there as well. There we go. Back in with the Scarlet red. Still using the Scarlet red as we go over this bit. Bringing in the colour. Bringing the colour up a bit more now, so coming up a bit darker. Now I'm coming in with the deep red and bringing out that shadow that little bit more into the Scarlet, blending it all together. Defining that shadow line that comes down a bit more. Back in with the Scarlet. Now then the Caput Mortuum back in with the shadows. That's underneath that other petal that's on the front. Around the edge here as well. And now then coming on to the next petal. Trying to work out where to go on that bit without undoing it. So that's all shadow there. Bringing it from there. That comes down. A little dark spot, shadow there. Using my pencil, I did that slightly wrong. That should have been more roundish. That should have come across straight across like that. Thought I could see something wrong. That's what was bugging me. Right. Come in with a Scarlet red. Blending that edge together with the Caput Mortuum at the top and the bottom. And bringing in the top line so that we can see where we're going. From here I'm just going to go all the way over this. I'm taking it lighter as I get to the top there. Don't want it too dark. There's a lot of highlights at the top there, and I don't want to lose that too much. Start bringing it out a bit darker there. Coming in now with the Caput Mortuum. I'm just going to flick it and bring it round. It looks like backwards C shapes, or like you would do with the whiskers on a cat. Just to show that it has a form. That the petal is bending round. Not too worried about the bottom of this petal at the moment, because that will mostly be in shadow, so it'll be quite dark. Let's just get this top bit in. There you go. Get that shadow nicely in. Bringing those lines a little bit further up without going too far. Bit of black right in the depths and blending it in with that Caput Mortuum. Just round the edge there, and then blending it in. Just to define the two edges of the petals. Back in now with the Caput Mortuum, going over that black, blending it in with the rest of it. Still making those C shapes, going backwards and blending it in with the rest of it. Coming in with the Scarlet red and blending this all in together. A little bit of shadow at the top. Bringing it down gently. Trying to keep those lines going as if it's still going in the right direction, going towards the tip of the petal. Blending it in with that Caput Mortuum. Coming in now with the deep red. Blending that in between those two. So in between the Caput and the the Scarlet. That's it. flicking it out again in the same direction it's heading towards the tip of the petal, making it look as if it's folding over. I think it's beginning to start looking like a rose now. The other two petals didn't make it shine. Now it's coming together. Just making sure I was going the right direction. Okay. Right. Back in with the Scarlet. Blending that Scarlet in with that deep red. Filling that little shadow with a bit of black now, just to make it stand out that little bit more. Back in with a Caput Mortuum and blending that in with the rest of the shadow that's coming down the edge, just there. There you go. Yeah, I'll try to use black minimally. Right, so another petal, another top petal. Get the outline in. Caput Mortuum around the edge. Dark edges again. Shadows. Trying to determine where the shadow ends on this, because it doesn't go all the way across. So I'm trying not to overdo it. Coming in with the Scarlet red and finishing off the outline. And shading as I come down. Giving it a light shade. Again, trying to bring it in the right direction as I'm coming down. Okay, come with the edge of it, just to edge of the pencil, coming all the way over it again, giving another layer. And then back in with a Caput Mortuum, with the side of the pencil and just bringing that edge, that shadow out gently. I just want to do it gently for now, just so that I can see where it's meant to go. That way, if I do it wrong, I've got a chance of rubbing it out and starting again. We're gently trying to put in the marks in the right place. And once I'm happy where it is, I can then go in that a little bit darker. And go from there now. I can start going from the centre, making it dark in the centre and bringing it out so that it blends in with the scarlet. Again, flicking motions. Trying to keep the right direction. It's flowing in. This side it's flowing to the 3 o'clock direction, then up top it's running towards midday. A little bit of black just around the edge. Right in the corner, right in the depths of the petal, making that darker, coming back with the caput, going back over it so it doesn't look so bold, that black. It just gives it that Caput Mortuum, that little bit more depth. There we go, as we bring it out. Coming in now with a rose cadmium, just to bring a bit more colour into this. Blending that in with the Caput Mortuum. Giving it a sort of a rounded edge at the top there as well. In there with the deep red, bringing up that the shadow underneath the other petal and defining those shadows a little bit more from where the Caput Mortuum was. Back in with that Caput Mortuum, bringing that shadow out a little bit more. Trying to get that petal to look as if it's folding over. Gently taking that into different strokes at different angles. Blending it in with the rest of it there. Keep seeing little shadows that just helps to define it that a little bit more. Coming in now with a deep red, blending that in nicely together. There you go. What I'm going to use now is I'm going to use a pink madder lake. Give it a little bit of pinkiness to this petal. And then I'll just give the other petal a little bit more pinkiness as well. And then I'm going to call this one finished for today. And if you enjoyed this as much as I've enjoyed doing it, in part 2 I will be attempting to do the middle of the rose. So if you have enjoyed this, please like and share. And if you'd like to see more, please subscribe to my channel, as this will help my channel grow a lot more. And hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Many thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll meet again next time. Bye for now.